Hey you, and welcome to the Avorion Quick Start guide. So here's what we're going to learn in this video. We're going to learn how to fly, how to mine resources, finding stations and selecting them, docking and trading, how to spawn a ship and build a ship, basic requirements for a ship, insurance, having a small word about combat, and how to visit other sectors. Now before we start, I would like to mention that I have made a tiny new mod for new players. This mod will disable the pirate attacks in the starting sector and should allow you plenty of safety to develop your first ship. The mod link will be available in the video description. So, let's get straight into it. When you first enter the game, you're seemingly in a ship. Don't be mistaken though, this ship is a faker called a drone. It is a temporary ship that cannot be edited and by default has 2 mining lasers that cannot be removed. To move the ship, for QWERTY users at least, use WASD for forward, backwards, strafing left and strafing right. You can use E and Q for strafing up and down. You can also use X and Z for rolling the ship. For Azerty users, this would be ZSQD for forward, backward, strafing left and strafing right, E and A for strafing up and down, and X and W for rolling. Now use the mouse to angle the ship to wherever you want to fly towards. The middle mouse button can be used to select the target that you're looking at. Tab can also be used to select targets, but it goes through the whole object list on the map, so keep that in mind. You can also boost your ship's speed temporarily by holding space for a speed dash. Keep in mind that you will not slow down anywhere nearly as fast, so be careful using it. And for the moment, we will finish off with the button F that allows you to interact with objects and stations. And on to the next topic, how to mine resources. First off, look for an asteroid. Since you are a new player, you will be somewhere in the outskirts of the local galaxy, which means the only resource available to you will be iron or titanium. Iron asteroids are identifiable by the large orange iron veins visibly glowing on the outside of the asteroid. When you see it, you'll know it. Please keep in mind that if you are struggling, that you may want to mine regular asteroids. The regular asteroids without veins will yield very small amounts of ore, but ore it is either way. As an added bonus, it'll make collisions with the asteroids less likely as you are clearing them out. Once you've found an asteroid, select it with the middle mouse button to see how much ore it contains, and its distance. Once you are within half a kilometer or 500 meters, your mining lasers will be able to hit them. Use the left mouse button to mine. This will be a hold the button operation. As you mine, you will see small floaty ores pop out. Those are what you want. They can sometimes fly past you, or in an opposite direction. So once you finish, make sure to check around and don't wait too long, because they do despawn fairly quickly. Once you have mined about 5 to 7 iron asteroids, or about 4,460 iron at least, you should be ready for the next part. You will also have to find about 800 titanium, which is a silver-looking asteroid. Please collect at least those amounts. Keep in mind when searching for asteroids to mine that it is possible to zoom out very far by putting the angle just right. You should be able to visually detect some asteroids. When you're in a menu, you can see your resources, credits, and the sector you're in on the top left. Now then, once you've gathered the materials, you will want to locate a station known as a resource depot. It will be marked with an icon resembling some traditionally stacked pipes. Fly to the station and trade with it. You're going to have to sell some ores to the station in order to afford a proper ship. Once you fly close enough to the station, you should see some icons that appear that represent the docking ports. In order to trade with the station, you'll have to fly up to them close enough and press F. Keep in mind that you must select the station, for example by aiming at it and pressing the middle mouse button to select it. Otherwise, the docking ports will not show up for you. Also keep in mind that you can check the resources of the stations and interact with them from any distance, but buying and selling requires a docking port. Once you are close enough for the docking port, press F and select the trading option to trade materials. you will be prompted with this screen. At the top left, you've got the tabs. The default one is Buy, so please click the other tab to enter sell mode. Underneath, there is a table showing the material type in order from least rare to rarest in descending order. Then it will show you stock. Be careful of this because it often tricks even veterans into thinking that it is how much resource they themselves have. But what you're seeing is the station stock. You can see your resources in the top left of the screen. So keep in mind when selling at a resource station to look at the top left for your own resources and to determine how much you could sell without it endangering yourself. For this tutorial, I asked you to collect 4,460 iron ore and at the least 800 titanium. Therefore, please sell half of whatever amount of iron ore you have collected by typing that number where you see 0, directly next to the sell button on the material you want to sell. Then press sell to actually sell the materials. Keep in mind that the process to buy is exactly the same, but then on the buy screen. Also keep in mind that, as per usual, you will pay more to buy resources than you will receive for selling them. As a quick extra tip for trading, your standing with a particular faction will improve your prices. However, that is beyond the scope of this tutorial and will be dealt with in another one. You have suffered the slow speeds of the drone for quite long enough now. It is time for you to design your own ship. And this we will do at a shipyard. So please find your local shipyard in your star system and head there now. You should be able to identify it by the anchor icon. Keep in mind once again that if progress is slow, you can use the space button to use the afterburners and dash forward rapidly. Also, you will slow down very slowly, so keep that in mind. As they say, don't aim for the station, aim next to it. Once you've docked with the shipyard, select the Build Ship option. This will prompt a menu. This is the menu for randomly generating a ship with random blocks. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will be making a ship from scratch, and as you will be the captain, please deselect Crew plus Captain. Ensure you keep Insurance selected, and please do not select Station Founder, as it will be a waste, trust me on this. Please take Single Block, and at the bottom, below Name, there is an almost invisible field, but it is there. Click in it and name your ship. Please be careful when naming your ship, as the name cannot be changed after it is constructed. After you have done this, click Build and the game will construct you a new ship. You should see a blue bar appear underneath the shipyard's location tag. This indicates the production progress. Once it finishes, your ship will appear somewhere nearby the shipyard in space. The ship will be named whatever you named it and will be marked in green, and always will show you a health bar underneath it. For those paying attention, you will have noticed a small white flag icon at the top right of the screen. This button also allows you to build a ship just about anywhere. However, it lacks the options a shipyard does. In order to select that option, hold down the Shift to unlock your mouse. Although this option is far more costly and only available if you're inside a drone. Next up, we are going to enter the ship you just made. So fly up to it, but very slowly and carefully. The slightest bump could destroy it if you're going too fast. Or you might get destroyed for that matter. Select it, press F, and use Enter. Use the Enter option to board your new ship. As soon as you do this, you'll notice a bunch of red icons flashing. They are warnings that your ship is, bad. We're going to fix those in just a jiffy. In order to build, if you didn't already start in the build mode, press B or click the crane icon in the top right. The icon would have previously been grayed out. This puts you into build mode, which I will very briefly touch upon. First off, your camera will be very close, so zoom out a little. The big green arrow points towards the front of your ship. And on the left you can see some tools. They're currently unimportant. At the bottom, you can see a bunch of blocks and a plus sign. Click on the plus sign to bring up the blocks menu. The top 4 rows you see are ship parts. In order to focus more on the ship parts, at the top left there are some screen adjustment buttons, designated in white boxes with lines drawn across them differently. Please click on the icon with the top box being the largest. This will emphasize the building blocks. For the moment, you will want to deal with the iron stuff exclusively. They are the top 4 rows. You will want to grab and drag down the following items to the hotbar. That is the bar all the way at the bottom of your screen. You will want to drag down the iron hull, iron engines, cargo bay, crew quarters, thrusters, gyros, and inertial dampeners. And separately, you will want to get a single titanium generator from the 4 rows below the iron one. Once you have these in a row on the hotbar down below, close the window. Now, as you hover your mouse over the ship, you should notice that the placeable block is about half the size of the first one. To get things just the way you want them, feel free to use that size. However, if for the moment you want a nice blocky ship, click on the toolbar on the left to select Match Block, and after that click Match Shape. Now when you hover over a block, it should resize to the same shape and size. If it doesn't do that, like for me, and for the moment without going too far into details, hold down the W or Z button, whichever one is flying forward for you. Then drag the mouse to change the shape into a square. Now you are ready to add things to your super blocky ship. To start off with, we're going to create a very simple ship. You don't have to do it like I do, but it might be easier for you to start off with. And remember, if you want to delete a block that was misplaced, click on it with the middle mouse button and then press delete. Now then, put a crew quarter at the front of the ship and then put a cargo bay at the back of the ship. Place a titanium generator behind the cargo bay, and then place 2 engines behind that stacked on top of each other, or adjust the block size to accommodate for 2 engines. Then off the last engine, place more engines in all 4 directions, that is, up, down, left, and right. Then place a gyro at the top, and an inertial dampener at the bottom of the central block. Place regular hull blocks to the left and the right of the center block, and then finally place 2 thrusters at the outer ends of those 2 hull blocks that we added. Now the ship should look like a plus sign with a long back and a stubby front. So as it is, place armor all over, except do not cover the thrusters. Place the armor up to the front ends of your engines. Finally, head back into the build menu by clicking the plus on the hotbar, and at the bottom you will see 2 turrets, but in fact there are 4. You have 2 identical mining lasers and 2 identical chain gun turrets. For the purposes of this tutorial, I will assume you are going for a simple mining ship and not combat juggernaut. So please drag onto your hotbar the mining laser. After that, close the window again and click on the mining lasers to place them. You will only be able to place 2 turrets of one type at the moment, so don't even bother trying to place all 4. Place the turrets at each leftmost and rightmost outer end of your ship. Whether you want to place them on the top side or the bottom side of your ship is left for your discretion. Keep in mind that you cannot place the turrets on thrusters. And now for the important part. Exit the build mode and notice that your ship has autosaved. If you have been paying attention, more warnings have appeared at the top and your ship has started taking damage. This is due to a lack of crew. So let's fly the ship to the shipyard and dock to hire some staff. So go to the shipyard, go to a docking position and interact with it. Then select Hire Crew as your interaction option. You will need a specific amount of crew, which you can see in the build mode. Normally you would need to look it up, but if you follow my design I can tell you the numbers right now. You'll require 4 miners, 3 engineers, 4 mechanics, and 1 sergeant. So, when in the hire menu, just move the slider to raise the number of people you want to hire, and for every type, make sure you press the hire button. If you cannot find a certain type, feel free to buy crewmen. They are general, lower skilled personnel and can be assigned to whatever task you feel they're needed in, with some exceptions. They will replace a skilled person temporarily. Please do try to replace the crewmen as soon as possible with skilled workers. Once you have purchased the staff, they will be automatically in the right place. Unless you bought crewmen, they will need to be manually assigned if you did buy crewmen. So please head over to the ship menu. This can be found at the top right. It looks sort of like a turret icon, or alternatively, press P to raise the menu. Before you will now be a window of stuff. You can hover over the icons on the left to remind you what they stand for. Please assign some crewmen to cover your required fields. Keep in mind that you can find miners at places miners logically hang out, such as an ore mine. They can easily stand out as their performance numbers should be about 20% and would be marked with a yellow warning triangle. Click on Assign next to their crew per hour cost. Once you're at 100%, the triangles will disappear and your ship will be stable. I highly suggest going out and mining or selling some more ore before carrying on. If you do not have an area that has miners for hire, you will have to stick it out. As long as you don't have overcrowded your ship and pay your staff, the morale will stay high. And as long as the morale stays high, the skilled personnel will gain skill and therefore do more work than regular crewmen who don't level up. In general, with my setup, the staff will level up way before your ship decays too far. However, the crew do cost a pretty penny. However, you only need to pay for them once every couple of real-life hours, so you should be fine for a while. Now, you will want to click on the icon in the top right that looks like a puzzle. This is the insurance menu. You can open it at any time by deselecting your target and pressing F. This will make you interact with yourself. Then select insurance. Or you could hold Shift and click on the puzzle icon. As you can see, oh no! You are horribly underinsured! If your ship is destroyed, you will only be repaid 1.3% of its current value. For shame! You have 2 ways you can go about this. If you have the money, go ahead and click Buy Full Insurance. If you want to slowly pay for it as you mine for extra dough, click the Automatic Payments button. That will automatically pay 10% of your ship insurance value until your ship is fully covered. Then go ahead and close it. Good, good. You've come a long way and we're almost done. However, in your current state, you are not fit for combat, and I am not going to tell you how you have to prepare for combat. That is beyond the scope of this tutorial. But do keep in mind, killing enemies drops turrets, ship upgrades, and the local authorities will pay you to kill pirates. Now then, on to the last section of this tutorial. We are going to learn to navigate the universe. So let us start by pulling up the galaxy map. Its icon looks like a lightning bolt on a wheel, but in reality, if you look closely, it's a magnetic needle on a compass. Or press M for map. In the center, where the whitish box is, that is where you are. The blue lines represent jump gate paths between sectors that you have discovered, and the purple radius around your location is your maximum jump distance for the current ship. Any green dots you see are unknown energy signatures. Those are sectors with either stations, pirate traps, or proper populated systems in them. Either way, I've been told green stands for detected stations, and some of those are sometimes rare ones hidden away. Like, for example, a smuggler's den where you can sell stolen goods. You could either fly through a gate with your ship, or you could jump to the destination of the jump gate. It's up to you. I can't possibly predict what you will find in the system that you go to, so how do you jump? Well, if you've been using the boost method to get around, you should have seen the occasional reference to jumping. This is because the same button is used for the afterburners as for jumping. But before you can do this, you have to select the place within the purple radius that you want to jump towards. And then right-click it, then click on Enter Coordinates into Navigation Computer. Now your ship will begin spooling up the hyperdrive. Once it is finished, you will be able to press space and off you go. Well, congratulations, Cadet! You now know the basics of Avorion. Now go forth and prosper, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!